So hello friends, today we are going to discuss something about psychopharmacological agents. That is those drugs that are used to treat numerous central nervous system disorders which affects mainly the cerebral cortex. Okay. So these are the drugs that have primary effect on the psyche, that is on the mental processes and the diseases that affect the psyche of an individual. They're used for the treatment of psychiatric disorders, which in broad sense and in common language is known as mental disorders. Broadly, the psychiatric illnesses, they are of two types. One is psychosis and second one is neurosis. The psychosis, they are the severe psychiatric illnesses with severe distortion of thought, behavior, capacity to recognize reality and perception. Okay, so basically, individual's capacity to recognize whether he or she is suffering from any illness is totally lost in psychosis. That an individual always feels that he or she is totally all right and there is nothing wrong with them. So that is the major problem of psychosis. Along with that, the troubles is that there is a presence of delusion, hallucination. Okay, so these and accordingly, because of the presence of delusion and hallucination, there is severe distortion of thought as well as appropriate behavior is also not present. So, in short, psychosis, they are severe psychiatric illnesses, uh, usually which affects the thought process and behavior of an individual, and there is a loss of connect with the reality. Patient is unable to meet the ordinary needs of life, and psychosis includes acute and chronic organic brain syndrome, functional disorders, schizophrenia. Functional disorders, there is schizophrenia, which is a major psychosis, paranoid states, mood disorders like mania, depression, bipolar disorder, all these are included in psychosis. The next one is the neurosis. Now, these neuroses, they are less serious psychiatric disorders. Here, the individual's ability to connect with reality, that is totally lost. That is totally not lost. An individual knows that he or she is suffering from such an illness, so he or she may contact a physician or a psychiatrist and may ask for help from the doctor. These includes, and usually these are of less serious nature. Usually it includes anxiety states, anxiety disorders. Phobic state means fear of certain situation, fear of mm, certain places, certain um, of unknown or known things. So that is phobic states. Then OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, that is to perform repeatedly certain behavior, certain things an individual does. Reactive depression, that is in reaction to certain bad event of life or death. Post traumatic stress disorder, so individual who's experienced a stressful situation, following that the individual feels depressed or phobic state, that is known as post traumatic stress disorder. And finally hysteria. So all these are neuroses. They are of less severe nature as compared to the psychosis. The pathophysiology of both psychosis and neurosis is not totally clear, but some theories have been put forth to explain the basis of these diseases. Example is that of dopaminergic overactivity in the limbic system. It may be altered in schizophrenia and may be the basis of causing schizophrenia. Or monomines, that is the norepinephrine and serotonin deficit in limbic system, which causes depression. The treatment is empirical and mainly symptom oriented. So none of the disorder underlines or targets the underlying pathophysiology or does not stop the progress of disease. It improves the patient symptomatically. Usually after years of treatment, the withdrawal of drug may be tried. But otherwise the patient has to continue taking drugs. And along with medicines, a lot of other alternative methods, that is behavioral therapy, psychotherapy, all these things, counseling sessions, they are to be done so as to attain complete removal of symptoms and trying to get the patient back into mainstream, trying the patient can lead a normal life, pursue education if is of younger age, or continue with their careers or do some meaningful work, earn a living, and can have their own family with psychiatric as well as medicinal support. So that is the aim of a total psychiatric treatment, some of which, that is the medicine part, which we will try and cover over here. So antipsychotic agents. Okay, the first we will take about psychosis, that is antipsychotic agents. Classification includes classical antipsychotics. We have phenothiazines like triflupromazine, chlorpromazine, thioridazine, trifluoperazine, fluphenazine. Then you have thioxanthines like thiothixin, the butyrophenones like haloperidol, trifluperidol. Atypical, okay, the previous three groups, they are the typical or the older antipsychotic agents. These atypical are the newer ones, that is the clozapine, risperidone, olanzapine, aripiprazole, ziprasidone, quetiapine, and others like loxapine and pimozide. So pharmacological actions of antipsychotic agents include mainly in the CNS. You have in a psychotic patient, that is in a schizophrenic patient, chlorpromazine reduces irrational behavior, it reduces agitation and decreases the aggressiveness and other symptoms. The disturbed thought and behavior, they are normalized, anxiety is relieved, hyperactivity, hallucinations, and delusions, they are also resolved. All typical drugs have some same efficacy, but they differ in their pharmacokinetic activities and potency. So you can use them interchangeably. Other CNS sanctions include performance and intelligence, they are not affected. The extrapyramidal motor syndrome occurs, which manifests as adverse drug reactions. Chlorpromazine lowers the seizure threshold, so potentiates or increase chances of individual suffering from seizure, particularly if an individual is epileptic or is suffering from seizure disorder. The temperature control is lost at higher doses. All typical antipsychotics have prominent anti-emetic effects, so they are alternate use as an anti-emetic agent. Mechanism of action, yes, all typical antipsychotic agents, they block the D2 receptors which are present in the limbic system, in the mesocortical area, and in the basal ganglia. Now these basal ganglia D2 receptor blocking is responsible for this extrapyramidal motor disturbance, while this limbic system and mesocortical area D2 blockade is responsible for the symptomatic improvement of the patient, that is normalization of thought, normalization of behavior, as well as removal of hallucinations and delusions. Neuroleptics or typical antipsychotic agents, that is those drugs that block the D2 receptors, they are known as neuroleptics. They have a variable degree of alpha adrenergic blocking action, that is all of them, they have alpha adrenergic receptor blocking action. um, Local anesthetic action is there. CVS, they produce hypotension because of this alpha adrenergic blocking action. Depresses heart function. Endocrine, increases prolactin secretion. Yes. So the most important part here is the adverse drug reactions that occur with the typical agents. The main is the main is extrapyramidal symptoms, which includes Parkinson's, acute dystonia, akathisia, neuroleptic malignant syndrome, tardive dyskinesia. Then other side effects include the muscarinic receptor blockade, that is anticholinergic side effects. Alpha 1 anticholinergic side effects include dryness of mouth, blurred vision, dilated pupils, difficulty in speech and swallowing, constipation, urinary retention, tachycardia, palpitation, etc. Alpha 1 receptor blocking action manifests as hypotension, tachycardia, palpitations, nasal stuffiness, etc. And H1 receptor blocking action manifests itself as sedation and some of the anticholinergic like side effects. Yes, weight gain is one of the prominent features of these typical anticholinergic agents. Endocrine side effects are due to increase in prolactin level, which leads to infertility in females and in males also, loss of libido, in females menstrual irregularity, in males galactorrhea and infertility. Hypersensitivity reactions like rashes, urticaria, etc. also manifested. The atypical antipsychotics, now they differ from typical antipsychotics in two respects. One is they do not block the D2 receptors, but they block the 5-HT2A receptors present in the mesolimbic system. The adverse effects include the sedation, salivation, and seizures. Another difference in between the typical and atypical antipsychotic agents is their ability to cause extrapyramidal side effects. Typical agents, they cause Parkinsonism and acute dystonia like adverse drug reactions, which are not seen with typical and atypical antipsychotic agents. So basically, typical antipsychotic agents, they have a limitation of causing extrapyramidal symptoms, which is not present with atypical antipsychotic agents. So that is another advantage with using these drugs. The weight gain is there and some hypotension. Agranulocytosis, this is seen only with clozapine. Another adverse effect is metabolic side effects. These are seen with all atypical antipsychotic agents, which includes dyslipidemia as well as irregularities in blood glucose level. Uses. So where do we use antipsychotic agents? That is both typical and atypical. So these antipsychotic agents, they are the drug of choice for the treatment of schizophrenia. They are also used for the treatment of mania, that is for initial control. Later you can add on lithium. Lithium we will see in the next few slides. Organic brain syndromes, acute and chronic antipsychotic agents can be used. Anxiety states, again, they can be used. And they are some of these drugs, some of the neuroleptics, they are preferred as antiemetic agents. The next is mania and bipolar disorders. Drugs used to control mania and stabilize moods in bipolar disorders include the lithium carbonate, anticonvulsants like sodium valproate, carbamazepine, lamotrigine, atypical antipsychotics like olanzapine, quetiapine, aripiprazole, risperidone. So lithium. No acute effects is seen with lithium, and on prolonged administration, lithium acts as a mood stabilizer in bipolar disorder. The given to acute mania patient, it gradually suppresses the episodes within 1 to 2 weeks. Markedly reduced sleep time in many patients, it becomes normalized. Mechanism of action not completely known, but following propositions are made. Lithium partly replaces body sodium and is nearly equally distributed both inside and outside the cells. These may affect the flow of ions across the cell membrane. Lithium may correct the imbalance in the turnover of the brain monoamines. Lithium inhibits the hydrolysis of inositol 1 phosphate, following which the supply of free inositol for regeneration of inositol membrane phosphatidylcholine, which are a source of IP3 and DAG, is reduced. So hyperactive neurons are mainly affected, which leads to stabilization of the neuronal activity. Other actions of lithium include inhibits the action of antidiuretic hormone on renal tubules and causes a diabetes insipidus like state. It has some insulin like action which leads to hypoglycemia. Leukocyte count is increased by lithium. Leukocyte count is increased by lithium. It reduces thyroxine synthesis. Adverse effects. Side effects are common but they are tolerable. Therapeutic drug monitoring, that is measuring the lithium levels, is optimum for monitoring lithium therapy. Nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea are the usual side effects which occur at the initiation of therapy. Thirst and polyuria also present. Fine tremors and rarely seizures can happen. On high doses or in cases of renal insufficiency, lithium toxicity can occur, resulting in coarse tremors, giddiness, ataxia, motor incoordination, nystagmus, mental confusion, etc. Long-term use, the patient may develop diabetes insipidus and goiter. Lithium is contraindicated in pregnancy. Fetal goiter can occur. Other congenital anomalies involving heart can also occur with the use of lithium in pregnant females. Where do we use lithium? Two uses of lithium. One is acute manic episode, and the second one is prophylaxis in bipolar disorder. Anticonvulsants and atypical antipsychotics. Since past few years, anticonvulsants and atypical antipsychotics have been shown to be effective for the treatment of bipolar disorder. They are better tolerated than lithium. Sodium valproate, a reduction in manic episode is noted. In acute mania, valproate has faster response than lithium. Has got better tolerability than lithium. Carbamazepine, another anticonvulsant which prolongs the duration of remission in bipolar disorder. Efficacy is lower than that of valproate or lithium. Side effects are also more. Lamotrigine, a newer anti-epileptic drug, it was found to be effective as prophylaxis in bipolar disorder. Atypical antipsychotics, drugs like olanzapine, risperidone, aripiprazole, quetiapine, they are now one of the first-line drugs for the treatment of mania as well as bipolar disorder. The side effects profile is lower as compared to lithium, so they are well preferred as compared to lithium. Next is antidepressant drugs. These are drugs which can elevate mood in depression, depressive illness. Tricyclic antidepressants or classic antidepressants include amitriptyline, imipramine, clomipramine, nortriptyline, desipramine, doxepine. The SSRIs, that is selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, includes fluoxetine, sertraline, paroxetine, fluoxamine, escitalopram, citalopram. Then you have atypical antidepressants include trazodone, bupropion, meancerin, duloxetine, venlafaxine, etc. And you have reversible inhibitors of MAOA or REMAs, which include moclobemide and clorgeline. Tricyclic antidepressants, the pharmacological actions include in depressed patients, after about 2 to 3 weeks of continuous therapy, the mood generally elevates, patient becomes more communicative, starts taking interest in self and surroundings. TCA's lower seizure threshold. They act by inhibiting the norepinephrine transporter and block the uptake of norepinephrine inside the neurons. Also, they block the SERT, that is serotonin receptor, and block the uptake of 5-HT at the receptors in CNS. The other actions include ANS, the Tricyclic antidepressants, they are potent anticholinergics. The CVS, that is prominent effects can be seen. They can be dangerous. They depress the heart. They have negative inotropic effect on heart. They can cause tachycardia, postural hypotension, arrhythmias and ECG changes. No tolerance or dependence is seen with the use of these drugs. Adverse effects, anticholinergic, that is dry mouth, difficulty in speaking, swallowing, blurred vision, constipation, urinary retention, tachycardia, palpitation, sedation, mental confusion and weakness, increased appetite, weight gain, sweating and tremors, seizure threshold is lowered, postural hypotension and cardiotoxicity, rashes and jaundice. SSRIs, these are the drugs of choice for the treatment of depression used currently in clinical practice. Many of the shortcomings that are seen with tricyclic antidepressants, they are not seen with SSRIs. SSRIs have TCAs, the tricyclic antidepressants have another problem is that they have a low safety margin and they have a lag time, that is the onset of action takes about 2 to 4 weeks. Many patients respond incompletely to tricyclic antidepressants. The SSRIs are better than tricyclics as far as their antidepressant effects are concerned. And their side effects are mainly non-serious. They include mainly GI side effects like nausea, vomiting and diarrhea, headache, insomnia, impotence. The other uses of SSRIs include um, obsessive compulsive disorders, acute panic states, phobic states, eating disorders, etc. Where do we use them? For the treatment of depression, for OCD and phobic states, SSRIs are drug of choice. For anxiety disorders, again SSRIs are drug of choice. Neuropathic pain, atypical antidepressants are used. Anti-anxiety drugs. Benzodiazepines like diazepam, lorazepam, alprazolam, they act on limbic system. Buspirone, beta blockers, propranolol and other non-selective blockers. SSRIs like fluoxetine and others. Thank you. So that is all about the psychopharmacological agent. What is important for you is that you need to know the classification of all the drugs, that is antipsychotics, mania and bipolar disorder drugs, antidepressants and anti-anxiety drugs. You should know the typical and atypical antipsychotic, typical and atypical antidepressants. The atypical includes the SSRIs as well as the other atypical antidepressants, and you should know the adverse effects of all of these drugs. Thank you for your attention.